Welcome back to my studio. Hi, I'm Mary Corrado, and today I am going to show you how to turn simple little objects into something fun that you can use for your holiday tables, for candle holders, for little vases, whatever you might need it for. Today I am working on a project that I have been looking for copper candle holders. Now, I've had a really hard time finding copper. So what I thought was, you know what? I know how to gild, and I think I can probably turn what I'm looking for into what I need with Amy Howard's Copper Leaf and Gilding Size. I have transferred it to a smaller container, but this is Amy Howard's Gilding Size. And we will also need her antiquing mirror solution. We will need all kinds of found objects. These are little boxes that I found at the dollar store that I'm going to continue to paint and then add my copper leaf to. And we will also need a mister and some one-step paint. I like to use a one-step for the base on pieces because, first of all, it gives it a really nice base coat to have everything stick to, but it also, if you wear away a little bit of the copper leaf, you've got a really pretty color underneath that just blends right in with the leaf. Start with your base coat and we'll move on from there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now I have, like I said, this is what our end goal is, but what I started with are some little lidded containers from the dollar store. These are paper cardboard. I've already painted the outside brown with the Amy Howard's One Step Windsor, but because the top didn't finish off really nicely, I added another layer of kind of a thick paper that I am going to repaint so that when we add the copper leaf, it has the best surface to go over. So let's get this open. I like to use Amy Howard's 1.5 inch brush for something this size. So we just are going to dip it into our paint. You can always transfer this to a cup if you prefer. It keeps the paint cleaner if you transfer it, but I usually just go straight from the container. But go ahead and just add a coat. Cover your piece. And we will let this dry. That's all there is to it. Let this dry for at least 20 minutes, and then we're ready to do our gilding size. Okay, now I'm going to move on. Even though this is not done in the brown, this is actually done in Amy's One Step black paint. But what I need is a very tall candle holder. And I'm gonna turn this up just a hair. So what I've done is I have painted this with the black One Step. I've sanded it where it had a couple of rougher spots, and where it was sitting on the base, some of that came off, but it'll be okay because we are going to gild right over that, and that little tiny bit I think should be fine. Now the reason this piece is black versus the brown is because my client wants a candle holder that is half black and half copper. So I am going to add a line where I think it would be nice to have the copper go to and the black where they should meet up. I think I'll do it not quite half, but maybe a little more copper, a little less black. Let's get some painter's tape and carefully apply it. Let's hope our edges meet up. If they don't, we can always reattach. Make sure it goes perfectly straight. Perfect, okay. So this will be our border. This part down will be black. This part up will be copper. So we are going to be gilding this section. And this is the base that our candle will sit on. So basically, it's been turned upside down, and now this will become a candle stand. Okay, so let's get started with our gilding size. Now this is just a white glue-like substance that we want to put on anywhere we want our size. And the beauty of this, it goes on white. You can see where it is. And as it dries, it stays shiny. So you will always see where it is. Now, if you're getting little hairs or anything like that, just take them out as you see them. I'm using an artist brush that has a pretty fine sable tip, but yet a large enough tip that it kind of covers well. Just want to get out any imperfection. And I'm not going to go all the way around at once because you have about 45 minutes to work with this, but sometimes I think it's a little easier to work in sections. That way you can control it a little bit better. Let's just get any little... The copper size is real copper, fine sheet of copper, and it is so fine that if you have a hair, if you have a little piece of anything in your sizing, it will show up underneath. So do as best you can to make this really, really smooth. You don't want a lot of brush strokes with the one step. So just do your best to get this as smooth and perfect as possible. So before it dries, go ahead and get all that out and just brush right over it. This should give us a nice clean line with the tape in its place. So as you can see, I've done a little more than half around. We want this to come to tack, so we need to wait until when you touch it with your ring finger, it pulls the skin of the ring finger. Because clearly it's still white, it is not dry enough. And if you add your copper leaf before any of the sizing has dried, it will never dry and it will eventually just not stay where you want it. It won't work. Be very careful to make sure that everything has dried. You're not rushing the process and all that good stuff. Okay, let's continue to let this dry. This too, you don't even have to use tape. If you wanted more of a free-form finish on the end, if you wanted to have end in kind of brush strokes, or if you wanted it to have a pattern, you could actually work with a stencil, and you could take your gilding size and you could paint where the stencil part is, and then your gold leaf will go right over that, and you could have a gorgeous design right on here. Or you could do stripes, or you could do dots, you can do whatever you're looking to do. Okay, this is looking better. Let me test it with my finger. It's shiny. I don't see any major wet areas. It's looking good. Okay. Now, I'm going to stand this up. Here is Amy Howard's copper leaf. This leaf, they come in books, and you get about 25 pages. Let me just show you how to use it. You just peel back the page. This is incredibly thin. Peel back the page, fold it so that you still have a way to hang on to the end of it. You're not taking it fully back so that the sheet is loose. So hold it down at the end like this, and I think I am going to do it this way. And all you do is press, burnish it on, and pull away. We will come back and burnish, but let's get another sheet here. You want to overlap just a little bit. Take a piece of our paper and let's burnish this down. I'm going to stick my arm in here. And I'm going to burnish. Now when you have areas like this or like this, all you have to do is take a little of the loose and add it to the area. Can you see? Make sure you can see. And just burnish it down. It'll fill it in. Okay. Okay, from here, I'm going to continue and finish up this whole area. I will do the top and I will show you how we go from here. Okay, there we have it. This is fully covered, and now it is time to antique it. What you need is a mister, and you need Amy Howard's Antiquing Mirror Solution. And what we are going to do is give this a good shake. And in my mister bottle, I've already added some water. I want to do a 50-50 ratio on this. You could do stronger if you want it darker. You can do lighter if you want it lighter. But this will antique it to finish really about that much. Can you see that well? So that's a pretty good, it's antiqued without just being dark. You can still tell it's copper. Okay, so let me just see how much I have in here. There you go. This is what it looks like. I'm going to give it a good shake. And let's spray it on. So I'm going to get, it's not going to hurt the paint down here, but I just like to cover it just in case. So now just start misting. You should start to see it turn. Right away. Let me hold that up. Are you starting to see that turn? you spray it until you are happy with how antiqued it has become. Now if you want to back off a bit and not get any runs on it, just be a little lighter hand on the mist. Is that showing up well enough? Okay, it's looking good. Gonna let this dry. We will come back and do the final touches. Okay, as this is drying, I am going to now remove the tape and just carefully peel it back. You could tell this was very wet underneath, and that's okay. We'll just let this all dry. There we have a beautiful line. I'm gonna let this dry before so I don't disrupt that line in any way. But now we've got this gorgeous piece that is half and half, which is fabulous. Okay, once this is completely dry, we can go back with some light wax and some dark wax to seal it, and it will also give a really beautiful sheen to the base of the one-step paint. Okay, for the sake of time, I am going to show you on this small piece how to wax it with light wax and dark wax, and that will seal the copper and protect it. Will also give you a really lovely soft sheen if you want that. You don't have to buff it if you don't want to, but it does. Personally, I kind of like a little bit of sheen since it is a metal, and it just looks really beautiful. So I'm gonna turn the camera down. I'm gonna show you the finishing stage. My tall vase, I just want it to dry a little bit longer. So for the sake of the video, just gonna show you, you use your light antiquing wax. Sorry about that. Always have your own light antiquing wax brush. You're then going to highlight very lightly with your dark antiquing wax. And this is a very small, this will just do a little tiny bit maybe around edges, just to give it a little slight more age. Okay, so you dip your brush into your light antiquing wax, into the puck. Always offload onto some cardboard. You don't want your brush to be gloppy or overfilled. And this brush already has a lot of wax in it, so I'm not going to apply too much, but what you do is you just go over your piece. Just apply it everywhere. Just an easy, light strokes. You can feel it once it's on there. And so that was all that needed, because like I said, I had a lot of wax on my brush. So this we are going to let to come to tack, which takes probably about 20 minutes. You can fan it, you can kind of speed it along with a blow dryer with a very light, cool setting, whatever works. But you want to make sure it comes to tack, and when it does come to tack, that means it feels, well, obviously a little tacky, but it also doesn't feel greasy anymore, and it feels a little cooler to the touch. So, and don't rush it when you guys are doing it, because if you do your dark wax, it can just blend right in with the light wax and it will create its own color, and that's not the effect that we're going for. You always want it to be more of a light wax with accent of dark wax, not just a mid-brown everywhere. Actually, that feels pretty good. Okay. This too has a lot of dark wax on it already. Here is the dark wax. Load up and offload. And this is for adding a little bit of maybe dimension, a little bit of darker wear, maybe on the edges. This is not going to be like something that you see everywhere. It's going to be a very subtle, but it will make a difference. But yes, it's going to be very subtle. Maybe you can see on those edges how it's just gotten a little bit darker, a little darker on the bottom. Maybe a touch here and there, but do not do overkill. It's not necessary. Okay, that's it for the dark wax. We let this again dry, come to tack, and then we will buff it with our soft cotton rag, clean and lint-free. All my rags look dirty, but they are actually clean. They're just well loved. And to buff just very carefully in a hit drag motion. Do not have to be too aggressive. This is not going to be polished to a high shine. But there you have it. That is real copper that has actually been aged very, very authentically. It's so, so beautiful. And I'm going to show you again my larger piece that, and you see how it can age in different spots in different ways, the way you use your mister. And then once this gets its wax, this will have a very soft shine, and this will look like this. This obviously is a darker example, but so this just shows the different ways how you can age. So, ready for a candle. It's going to look beautiful with some greenery and just getting ready for the holidays. And I hope this spurs ideas on things that you can use and create. Create a cool vase out of something like this that you find at the hobby store. You can create gift boxes, candle holders. You can do whatever you want. You can do these on plates, on furniture, on just about anything. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.